ਜ਼ੁਬਾਨੀ
ਤਰਕ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ, ਜਜ਼ਬਾਤ ਦੀ ਕਦਰ, ਹਰ ਘਟਨਾ, ਹਰ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਤੇ ਪੈਣੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ।
ਨਾ ਝੁਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ,
ਨਾ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ,
ਨਾ ਦੱਬਦੇ ਹਾਂ,
ਨਾ ਵਿਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਹਰ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਦੀ ਜੜ ਤੱਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਮਾਰ।
ਦਿਨ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਰਾਤ, ਹਰ ਵੇਲੇ ਤਿਆਰ।
ਬੁਲੰਦ ਸੀ,
ਬੁਲੰਦ ਹੈ,
ਬੁਲੰਦ ਰਹੇਗੀ।
ਸੱਚ ਦੀ ਦਹਾੜ।
CGSP 600 AM ਸ਼ੇਰ-ਏ-ਪੰਜਾਬ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਕੇ ਹਟਿਆ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਉਹ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਸਟੀਵਸਟਨ ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਈਸਟ ਤੋਂ ਕੈਨੀ ਚਿਊ ਹੋਣਾ ਦੀ। ਕੈਨੀ ਚਿਊ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇਨਕੰਬੈਂਟ ਲੀਡਰ ਨੇ, MP ਨੇ, ਮੈਂਬਰ ਆਫ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੰਬਾ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੈ ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ। ਪਿਛਲੇ 25 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਬੇਸਡ ਐਡਵੋਕੇਟ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਸੌਫਟਵੇਅਰ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਮੈਨੇਜਰ ਨੇ। ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਹੀ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ। ਔਰ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੌਟ ਸੀਟ 'ਤੇ ਮੌਜੂਦ ਨੇ ਕੈਨੀ ਚਿਊ। ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਕੈਨੀ, ਹਾਊ ਆਰ ਯੂ?
Good morning, sir. Sher-E-Punjab.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਐਂਡ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਫॉर ਬੀਇੰਗ ਹੇਅਰ। ਨੀ ਹੋਮਾ।
Oh, I'm doing very well.
That's great. Kenny, if you can shed some light on your track record, what you have done in politics and overall in the community as well.
Well, I think my track record as not just the incumbent MP for Chiefs and Richmond East, but also my previous track record as the Richmond School Board trustee has been shown that I'm a bridge builder. I don't work for one particular interest group or one particular ethnic community. I'm a representative of the people. I'm a good friend of many communities, and I want to reflect their voice, particularly in this case, be re-elected so that I can bring your voice to Ottawa rather than Ottawa to you. I think we have seen too much of that, and I want to reflect your value, your positions on many of the issues.
So you must have been familiar with so many challenges Steveston Richmond East going through. Can you share some of those challenges?
Well, in the past 20 months, in the short 20 months that we are in, I think one thing that we notice unavoidably is the COVID-19. It is true that we as a country facing this never happened before in our recent history, a pandemic. And therefore, we work with the government, the governing party, but at the same time, we also see that there are many issues that we're very concerned, and we found that it's very concerning to residents of Chiefs and Richmond East. For example, because of the priority of spending that is in, I guess the Liberal has an ideological band to it. They instead of the CEWS, the wage subsidy, as the Conservative have been trying to push out first, and reinstate and reinforce the small businesses and keep the jobs and freeze the jobs. The Liberal decided to push out this CERB, the benefit, and as a result, many of the small businesses did not survive, and many businesses still have problems surviving even until this day. But that's only on the money side. It's unconscionable to see a political party that would actually make use of this pandemic opportunity to dole out almost $1 billion worth of contracts to their friends, an organization that has no experience in delivering similar programs, and an organization that has actually no ability to deliver any service in French, the second language of our country. And
Can you name some companies?
well, these are We Charity that I'm referring to, and so as a result, we have to face, and this is the same regime, this is the same Prime Minister who embroiled in the SNC Lavalin, and Jody Wilson-Raybould, Salina Chavez had keep on reminding us that this is only a couple years ago. The supposed to be feminist, that's supposed to be indigenous friendly Prime Minister. Turns out he was just nothing but skin deep. He's just a pretender in chief. And so, many of my constituents from Chinese or Caucasians or South Asian Punjabis, they're asking, we expect our country more, and especially the immigrants community. They're asking me, Kenny, we come to Canada in expecting of a clean, upstanding government, but why are we seeing these corruptions that we're here? There was an MP, a Liberal MP, who retired in 2019, and somehow through the pandemic, he was given millions and millions of contracts making those ventilators when he had no experience in doing that. Mm-hmm. So we have definitely seen incidents like that are questionable. So on financial situations, on accountability, how do we inoculate Canada and get us ready for the next pandemic? We have, throughout this pandemic, we know that we have basically surrendered our ability to protect ourselves.
But Liberals are saying that they have spent billions of dollars, not just only to secure the vaccination from the world, but also on the pandemic recovery. How will you take that?
Well, Shamia, if you pay attention to all these Liberal talking points, they all talk about throwing money at solving problem, as if money alone can actually solve the problem. We disagree with that. As I said earlier, even if you spend money, they're spending money wisely, prioritizing certain areas, and spending money dumbly. And we argue that first thing, they are benefiting their friends, and secondly, they're also not spending our money wisely. Even though we need to help out at the beginning, small businesses, Canadians, to survive through this pandemic. At the same time, we're the only party who start thinking about, hey, listen, this cannot go on. So, Samir, in the interview that we're in, every second of this interview, every second that you and I breathe in and out, the country has already overspent $50,000 every second, and we're borrowing $50,000 per second. This cannot be sustained. It's not sustainable. So conservative is the one who are thinking, hey, why don't we do this? We reinforce the small businesses so that we can start enlarging the tax base and start getting our country onto a recovery path.
Can you definitely, I want to focus on your constituency, but as we are talking about the federal politics right now, conservatives are promising that they're going to start a month-long GST holiday this fall. So how that's going to happen? I mean, if they are into this populist, campaign, then they are on the same platform like Liberals.
Well, we have a plan to bring our countries back on a balanced footing within 10 years. Yes, we still need to spend some money to actually reinforce our small businesses, to help them get on their own feet. It is true, and those are costly. But at the same time, we need to have a restart. The country needs to, for example, the brick and mortar shops, we need an infusion of businesses. That's why we're helping small businesses, hiring back the 1 million jobs that were lost. Even as a federal government, we're going to help subsidizing them. The longer people are out of work, we want to hire them back to the workforce. And that's the only way that we can enlarge the tax base, and therefore with the tax base, with people getting back to work, with people start making money, small businesses, we will be able to recover from pandemic.
Let the federal Liberal debate on that, and let's once again coming back to your constituency.
Yeah.
Why your constituents should vote for you once again?
Well, again, Shamia, it's going back to I am the effective voice in Ottawa for you. The Liberal, for example, they are now talking about never forget about marijuana. We're talking about hard drugs like heroines, like cocaine, like methamphetamine. They're talking about how to decriminalize them, just like the path that they took in the marijuana situations. There are many differences in our community, but one thing that we know is that cannot be good for our next generations. And not only that, we're the Liberals are transferring burdens, tax burdens, financial burdens to our next generations. They're also setting them on a path that is no return and is bad for our next generations. We're going to stop them.
All right. Thank you so much, Kenny. Really appreciate your time, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you.
ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਨ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਕੈਨੀ ਚੂ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਟੀਵਸਟਨ ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਈਸਟ ਤੋਂ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਔਰ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੱਖ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੱਗੇ ਰੱਖਿਆ, ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਸਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਔਰ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਹੀ ਇੱਕ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਵੌਇਸ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਟਵਾ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ। ਔਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਅਗਲੇ ਹਿੱਸੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕੌਂਸਟੀਚੁਐਂਸੀਜ਼ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਖੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਗਲੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਬ੍ਰੈਡ ਵੈਸਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਨੇ ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਮੈਟਸਕੁਈ ਫਰੇਜ਼ਰ ਕੈਨੀਅਨ ਤੋਂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਸੁਣਦੇ ਰਹੋ CKSP 600 AM ਸ਼ੇਰ-ਏ-ਪੰਜਾਬ ਰੇਡੀਓ। ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਡਨ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ।